I'm loving what this Spurs team is doing right now. You're lying if you don't agree with me. It's really fun to watch. Malaki Branham, shout out tonight. Had a good game, and he looked like the guy that we saw coming out of Ohio State. We'll talk about everybody in a second. I thought this was a game that we got to see the young guys. I mean, first off, Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, they got two franchise cornerstones right there at the wings. And they've really got three: Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan. Your shooting guard, your small forward, and your power forward. And it's crazy to think about that they could even have a small ball lineup working out right now of Tre Jones, Devin Vassell, Malaki Branham, Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sohan as your small ball five. And that's just, it's incredible to see what they're able to do with such a diverse and, good squad. And they played against Jazz. Some people might say the Jazz are floundering. I think the Jazz are fine, and this was a worthy opponent. And Branham was one of my favorite prospects coming out of the draft, out of Ohio State specifically, 6'5" to 6'10" wingspan, 19 years old. And for me, he was a guy that when I saw him coming out the draft, and he's shown this, he is a shot creator. That's what he showed. He's going to consistently be able to create his own shot. He's got a good frame. He's showing that the defensive versatility that we were hoping for is showing up. He had a steal tonight. Facilitating wasn't ever his strong suit, but he was going to be a guy that I think Branham always showed that he was going to be a good enough scorer to at the very least be a high-level bench scorer in the NBA because of that shot making. Yes, some people say he doesn't have elite echelon athleticism and lack of defense and inability to make an impact if his shot isn't falling. I think this is things that we're seeing him work through in the G League. And the San Antonio Spurs are I think the team that's doing the best job at tanking, because they'll be winning a game and then they'll lose it, but they're also developing their young guys. And I think we're just seeing first off, Tre Jones at the very least is going to be a high-level backup point guard, could even develop into a solid starting point guard. You also have out here Jakob Poeltl, who every day that he stays on this roster, I think they're just going to let him test free agency and then re-sign him to a fat contract that way. And Zach Collins, another great backup center, they did as a reclamation project that's turning out good. And they still have Isaiah Roby out there. They didn't even play Josh Richardson tonight. And Charles, Bassey is one of my favorite players. They still have Romeo Langford. They got depth on this roster, and they're doing a really, really good job. I mean, they almost lost this game. Tre Jones was clutch in this one. And I think this is a team that we're starting to see that if they were really trying to win games, which they're not, they have the pieces there to think that if they have a good draft this offseason, they can be right back in it without I'm not saying that just the joke around. No, that's being dead serious. And that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you guys agree with me? I think looking at a team like the San Antonio Spurs, especially being led by Greg Popovich, who's one of my favorite coaches in the NBA, they do such a good job at making sure that everyone is getting the rock, and moving the ball. I think right now they're just taking this time to install the fundamentals, of Spurs basketball in this team. And I think with more and more time, we're just going to see this squad, especially, again, I'm really believing in the idea of that if they're really potentially a draft away from being able to take this team and be good. Imagine if they got Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson. I think that's a guy, or Eamon Thompson. One of those three guys, I think, could really change the trajectory of this, because that would give them a point guard, or a dominant center, and just change everything for them. So that's where I find all of this interesting as hell. And that's where I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you guys agree with me on this, or is this just me being overzealous? But that's basically it for me, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good jazz. Peace out. I hope you guys do have a good one. I lost my phone for a second, but I just found it, and I forgot to respond to my girlfriend's fucking message for the game, so she's gonna be mad that I didn't. So we're gonna do that right now, and hopefully I can get this one like this. Oh my god, I missed that. Goodbye.